you. You're tuned in to the Skirts Up Show with Samantha and Melissa.
Join our mission to normalize failure, but still uncover the positives at every twist and turn.
Skirts up, but keep your panties on.
Hey, Skirts Up Squad. It is Melissa today, and I have with me Simona.
Hello.
She's somebody that I met. We're going to get into it because she's our guest today as well. But okay, Sam's not here today. She's okay. She's good. She is just in Tennessee living her best life this weekend. And Simona's laughing at me because, okay, this is what happened. You know, we always start with the fail because why what?
Right,
It means
yes,
we're learning.
Yes, we're learning.
You guys, we recorded a whole hour.
Well, we actually did not record.
That's the problem.
We talked for a whole hour.
We did.
And
We
we
did.
not recorded.
We were like, that was such a good episode. Sam's going to be
Yeah.
so proud.
And we did so well, I have to say. I think
thought
we
so.
did really well.
I thought so. Thank you.
And then we tried to play it back, and it did not.
It did not play back. So I basically had the settings on incorrectly. And this is the even worse part. The worst part is that we did a test.
Yeah.
And
And we heard it, but
we
not great.
it was really quiet. And Simona was like, you sure it's supposed to be that quiet? I was like, yeah, my volume's just down.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys, we recorded a whole hour's worth and it was nothing. So here we are.
Yeah,
That's
we're
my
gonna try
fail.
again.
Yeah, that's my
the
fail.
fail for today.
So that makes it real easy. So shall we skirt on in?
Let's skirt.
All right. So Simona, just to introduce her, what's your last name?
Oh,
Or if you want to share.
well, do you want my married name or my maiden name?
I was just going to, however you wanted to be introduced by. 'cause-
Oh, I'm Davidson.
okay.
now. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
easy.
All right. So Simona Davidson, we've been talking. I feel like we're old friends.
Yes,
And
we
I'm just
talked a lot.
learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're learning, and we get really close now.
I know.
and we know a lot about each other.
We do. We do. So, okay, what happened is this is how it happened. I went to Stillfire Brewery a couple months ago and she was there and she had this gorgeous flower truck. And I found out that she does a mobile flower business.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, we need to have her on. And honestly, a mobile flower business is cool. In my mind, I thought, okay, we'll kind of talk about,
How you got
women,
there,
how'd you get
yeah.
here? You're powering through and, kind of things that we like to talk about on this episode or these podcasts. But then when she got here today and we just started talking, I would say we talked for about an hour, even before the failed recording of an hour.
Yes. So we should have recorded that one. Well,
We
it
should
wouldn't
have.
record.
It wouldn't have recorded because I didn't know what I was doing. But as we were talking, it was like, okay, wow, we were meant to meet and we were meant to have this conversation because she has such a rich history, how she got where she is. And then she has some really neat tips in the end too, I think.
Yeah,
about how to
maybe
keep us
if
going.
Maybe I could share some tips.
I would
yeah.
love it.
I'm still learning, remember?
We're still learning. That is the motto for today. Okay, so let's start with since we're re-recording.
We did really good the first
We
time.
sure did. You guys, it was amazing. Just kidding. No hanging it. It's amazing here too.
Yeah.
So basically you grew up in the Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. It used to be Czechoslovakia, yeah, but now it's Czech Republic.
Okay.
Used to be Czechoslovakia, yeah. But after the revolution there, well, I was actually going to a college, but it was pretty common for kids to take like a year off and go experience some Western cultures. And so the most popular was going to America. Some people went to Germany. So this is what I decided. And I decided I was going to go through student agency that would find my host family, and then I would have a brief conversation with them, and then that's it. I would just pack up my bags
And go.
But it was not as easy, actually.
Yeah. It never is.
It wasn't. No, but I was gonna just finish my college back home.
What were you majoring in?
It was economics, which is the complete opposite from what I am now.
Yeah, because
but my parents,
artist.
exactly. But my parents just kind of decided this would be the route for me to go.
Okay.
And so I just listened and I just went until I could not pass an exam. and I was already fed up. And I was going home to my bus station, and I passed right by the student agency.
Okay.
And I just walked in and filled up paperwork. And
So out of curiosity, was it like it was an agency on campus?
no, it's an agency in my almost hometown.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a town agency,
But it's
like
a
city.
student agency because it's like, oh, you're taking
They
a
call
year
it
off.
student agency because you have to be a student and certain age to actually apply
Okay.
for the programs that they have. So you coming here on a culture exchange program that has a certain visa tied to it.
Oh, okay. So, and I know that you came over to be an au pair.
Yes.
Did they have other programs?
You could come as a student also, but then for that you have to have a certain amount of funds to fund your schooling. And so when you come as an au pair, you're living with the family, you're getting paid like maybe like a pocket money. They call it
Yeah.
140. Back then it was $140.29. And per week while you're taking care of the kids and a household and you live with the family.
Okay.
And they're required to pay for your language course and a nearby school. But
Okay. So I kind of I'm going to try and put it in perspective again because
yes, because
So-
we've done it already.
yeah, but like I was a nanny in Cleveland, Ohio in 1999. You were an au pair in 2001.
2001, yes.
What state did they send you to?
New Jersey.
New Jersey. You would think there wouldn't be much of a difference. Like you were both
Yeah.
living with a family, we're working full time.
Yep.
I made $400 a week, plus I had room and board and a car.
Mhm.
And it's just like, wow. It kind of blew my mind when you told me that you made $140 a week.
Yeah, that's how we come here with the understanding that we're not going to be making millions of dollars.
Yeah.
While taking care of other people's kids. So
Yeah.
it was, you learn,
You learn.
you get somewhere, you learn, you have to start somewhere, I guess.
Yeah.
But my family unfortunately didn't work out in New Jersey, so I had to be looking for someone else, and I did not go through the agency. So I already had a friend here in Atlanta, and she just kind of suggested, well, just come here and we'll find somebody for you. And I just didn't want to come here, and what if it doesn't work out? So coincidentally, I registered on a website for nannies, and I found a family there that responded to me, and they were from Atlanta. So
Oh, that's kind of where it's where you wanted to
it just
be.
kind of like worked out, and I didn't know anything about them. I just jumped on the plane, came here. They had twins.
I was laughing because you were saying you were interviewing with the dad the whole time.
Yeah, I only was interviewing with the dad. He sent me a picture of the mom, and everything just kind of like sounded okay. And then I said, how am I going to find you at the airport? And he goes, well, we're going to be the only family with twins, which is funny because now you see twins everywhere.
Right.
Multiples are everywhere.
Right.
And I did find them like this. And now I'm thinking about this, you're older. So you're thinking, well,
Would I send my daughter
okay,
just to meet some people?
exactly. Would they live in your basement? I don't know. And so I had a whole unit in the basement. where I
Also, like you're
lived.
talking with the dad the whole time. What if it was some creep?
And it didn't really cross my mind. You have to be really young and naive to not really think what else can happen if things don't turn out the way you think they're going to turn out.
Luckily, they did.
Luckily, they did.
I was going to ask, sorry, really quick. What was happening with the family in New Jersey that just kind of made you go, wait, this isn't happening for me?
It's just, I don't think we were a good match. And I think, when we talked, when you first come through the agency here, they put you with all the other girls in the hotel for a week to kind of learn. It's like a culture shock maybe for people.
Sure.
To learn the culture and how you treat the kids here. And
are you with other people from your same country or other countries
no,
too?
there were other countries too. There were girls from Austria, Germany.
Okay.
There were some Russian girls, I think. So I think the student agency is kind of worldwide. And they don't only send girls to United States. There was also Canada at the time. There was Germany, Austria, And I
Okay.
don't remember anymore. But yeah, it's not just United States, but America is just the most popular at that time. We just all
Okay.
wanted to come here.
Yeah, America has a really good, I don't want to say propaganda, but
It
it
is. I mean, you don't
does.
hear all the. Once you live here, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But you only hear the good
Like the
things.
American
Yes, the
dream,
American dream. You come here
white
and you live
picket
the dream.
fences. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're still all struggling too, I
Yeah,
suppose, in
it's,
different
even
ways.
when I talk to my family now, they're always like, well, but you guys cannot compare because your pays are a little bit higher there. I'm like, let me put in perspective. There's the insurance that we have to pay, and all of these are, education,
Yeah.
and what we were talking about, the other stuff, a
Because you get,
daycare
you
for
said
kids.
daycare, medical, you free call it, not
Yeah.
free, but
Well, it's almost free when you put it in a perspective and compare here. It's,
yeah,
education is free,
yeah,
college, especially back home. So there's a lot of things people, maternity leave, we
yeah.
don't have any of that here. And then over there, there's still a lot of
Yes, tell them how
support.
much.
Yeah, I mean, so if you're in Czech for now, I know they will probably cut it soon because of what is going on, but it is that you will get maternity leave. So it's for 3 or 4 years. If you're staying at home, you can decide on how you're going to get it paid out. If you
That's
stay for
amazing.
3 years, you get bigger chunks of money every month. If for 4 years, then it's smaller. But what I didn't mention, also your job is guaranteed after your maternity
Wow.
leave ends.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Also, it just kind of makes me think that there's a lot of value on like education and the individual. Like I'm thinking a child who can have his parents home with them or
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, and it definitely helps because the first years are very important. And
Yeah.
the way I see it here, a lot of moms are stressed out because they have to go to work to make the ends meet after they deliver a baby, and they can't even be at home
Yeah.
with a newborn, which
Right.
is very stressful.
And
And
of
then,
course everyone's different, but it's
yeah,
optional even,
yeah,
right?
yeah, it's true.
If they want to go back to work, they
Yeah,
can go back to work.
yeah.
But yeah. Oh, that was interesting to me. So, okay, so it wasn't really working out with the family in New Jersey.
I found family here and I ended up here. And then it kind of, the circle became my jobs. I worked for that family, but then I have other jobs and for other families. And then always was for families with multiples. So they all
Okay.
had twins. I had triplets. I had quadruplets. And
Whoa.
yeah, those were my nighttime jobs when you were kind of doing like a night nurse
Okay.
when people need more help overnight and they can get some sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how that worked out because I always worked with multiples and then I ended up having girls, twin
Yeah.
girls. So
That's so amazing.
so we talked. It wasn't that amazing for me the first time because I was so scared.
She's like, stop, you already know.
Yeah, I was so scared to have twins on I knew what to do, but it's just, when you work
You're
it
like,
all
what
the
is
time,
happening
like,
to me?
why is that it rubbed off too much?
Oh, no.
But now I can imagine it that way. So
Yeah.
it worked out. It's all good.
Yeah. Wow, that's so funny, though.
Yeah. But, I met my husband here and
How'd you guys meet?
we met at the gym. Which is
Okay.
a whole another story because I would never meet any meatheads. So it took him a long time to actually for me to agree to go on a date.
Oh,
It was
really?
like 6 months.
That's a long time, and he did not give
Yeah.
up.
He did not give up. No, he
What?
did not give up. I think that was like a challenge. You know how guys like challenge?
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think the more I was saying it's never gonna happen, the more it was like,
No,
it will happen.
Interesting. So what did he do to like finally get you to go out with him?
I don't know. I think the main thing we were talking, we were just kind of like friend talking, and then 9/11 happened,
Oh.
and he had to go from his work. He had to go help to New York, and he was there for a good, I think, 5 or 6 months. That's when I realized,
Whoa.
oh, I miss him.
Oh, that's right.
So we started dating after that.
We want what we can't have.
Yeah, that's kind of how it happens sometimes, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is actually.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Okay. So you got married, you had the twins. So I guess you're kind of also talking about being a stay-at-home
I
mom.
was a stay-at-home mom, and then, as soon as you're a stay-at-home mom, you start kind of like thinking, how am I going to keep myself busy and, do something for myself. I realized I really enjoy photography and taking
Okay.
pictures. And in the beginning, it was just for myself and, taking pictures of my kids. But then a couple of people said, you really have a good eye for it. And would you do photo shoots for us? And that's how I just kind of like started.
Okay.
And then I realized, well, maybe I could just do it for myself.
Yeah.
And so I was doing photography.
Yeah. Did you ever think that you had like did you feel like you were an artistic person before?
Well, back then, when I was young, I really didn't know. I mean, I always liked doing crafty things and things like that for myself. And my mom is pretty artistic.
What does she like?
She sews.
Oh.
Yeah, she does a lot of crafty things. And then she was a really good singer. I think that if she, took it further, then she could have made it somewhere.
Really?
But it's just the life wasn't set up, that way at that moment.
Right.
So that part I think comes from her. And so then I just started kind of like experimenting with things. And then I really loved the photography. But I also feel like over the years, and I think a lot of photographers agree now, is that the appreciation for the photography, the art itself, is kind of diminishing.
Yeah.
And people just, they have apps, they slap a filter on their pictures and they love it the way it is. They don't really care.
It's kind of true.
Yeah, nobody prints pictures anymore. Everybody just have everything digital. So
yeah.
it's not the same. So I've heard even a lot from my friends who did photography that they're saying that it slowed a
Right.
lot for them. So a lot of them returned back to
Oh, that's so
jobs.
sad.
Yeah, a lot of people were doing it as a living, and now
Yeah.
they can't really support themselves on
Oh
it.
no. Yeah, because I feel like we were talking about how we feel like sometimes people don't really appreciate the arts,
Mhm.
like things that
What all goes into it. Yeah.
exactly.
It's not just what you see, it's the idea. It's,
Yes.
it's you gotta take all of the whole package into the consideration.
Right. And sometimes what you see, and we're going to talk about this more because we're going
Right.
to talk about your flower truck, but there's so much more that goes into it behind the scenes.
Mhm.
And
That's
something
something that's not as beautiful and flattering
exactly
and exciting
exactly
as you see like the final products.
right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's funny because I do get a lot of people that come in the shop and be like, "Oh my gosh, you're so lucky! You're living your
Oh, yeah.
dream."
I hear that all the time on the truck. Oh, this is my dream. I want to do this. I always wanted to do this. And then you tell them, I had this party that I was hosting, and the girl comes out, and she's maybe 17, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I've always wanted to do. I'm gonna do flower truck tomorrow." And I just looked at her and I said, "That's great." I said, "But let me just tell you all the other things that go with it. Maybe you'll reconsider." And after I told her, she was like, "Oh, maybe not."
What did you tell her?
Well, I did tell her that it's like a true sweating behind the scenes,
Yeah.
not just like people say blood, sweat, and tears, but it's true sweating because there's so much work. You always have to clean the buckets, fill the buckets with the water, put the flower food in there. Then when I bring the flowers home, I have to strip them off all the leaves, prep them, hydrate them, give them a new cut.
Oh,
There's so much when I come home, and then that's on top of driving to all the farms and if I go to wholesaler, but mostly the farms, they're all about an hour away from me, so it's always going back and forth. I try to plan my routes so I can like have them on the way, but they're not really on the way.
right.
So it's not what it looks like. It's a lot of work.
I would even venture to say that most businesses aren't.
No.
Right?
No, I agree.
Like,
And that's on top, and then you have all the accounting and all the business part behind it that I really don't like, which is why I didn't finish my university. Sometimes I regret it. I was like, it'd be nice to have a degree,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, but I guess things happen for a reason. It's just
Yeah.
not me.
I still kick myself sometimes, and I don't even know why. I guess it's just the societal part of it. Even
It is. We talked about it. How
Yeah.
sometimes people look down at you because
Yes.
you did not. I mean, you can be super talented and have an amazing business and do all of these things, but then when you say that you didn't do college or
Yeah.
you didn't finish college, they're like, "Oh, okay."
I actually had a lady come in once, and
Yeah.
it was when I was in the Swanee location. So I was in like a small 650 square foot space.
Swanee is a special place. Like,
Yeah.
it used to be different. I feel like we're headed a direction that I don't like.
Oh no.
It's just there's a lot of, people who it reminds me of Alpharetta now. When Alpharetta
Yes.
grew, the people just changed in the city. We were more down to earth. I don't
A
feel
little
like
bit
we
of
are.
that, like trying to keep up with the Joneses
Yes,
and
a lot of that
put on a
front.
yeah.
Yeah, I
So that's
agree.
kind of what kind of a
But I
person had
interrupted
come
you.
in. No, you're
Yeah.
right. That's actually goes into it perfectly because this person was kind of like
Mhm.
that. She, for some reason, she really tied her identity to her career,
Yeah.
and she kept talking about her career, and I was like, okay, yeah, that was great. I didn't actually think anything about it until she said, yeah, sometimes when people find out that I make quilts, they want me to make me one. And then they say, oh, you should do this for a living. And she's like, no, I just tell them I have like an actual job. Like I have a real job.
Yeah, and then you're standing
I
there, the
was-
person who was
yes!
providing service to her, she came to your shop. Yeah, I don't think people realize a lot of times
What
they
they're
say.
saying.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I was floored. I was like, so for a long time after that, and probably too long because I let it make me salty. I
Mhm.
was a little salty about it. I
Well,
would
I would
joke
be
to
too.
Michelle, right?
I
And
would
I
always
was
bring
like,
it
that's
up,
what I did.
my non-real job.
That's exactly. I would say to Michelle, I'd be like, well, if it was a real career.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people just don't realize. I hear the same thing. They're like, "Oh, you have a flower truck." Well, that's not a real thing.
Yep. Yep.
It's just like, and I do have to say, I'm just starting it out, but I've heard from
Doesn't
other
mean
people, I mean, there's people who make living this way.
Yeah.
So you have to start somewhere, and
Exactly.
hopefully it's going to take off. You never know where it can bring you, but
Yeah.
hopefully it's going to take off and I can make it my job. Actually.
Exactly. Well, and even because you were saying like meeting with the people at the town hall, they
Mhm.
even were kind of like, no, you need a peddler's license. They didn't even
Yeah,
see
they
it
gave me a
as-
regular business license, and then they were trying to tell me I need another license. Then I had a meeting, and I was told, no, that license that I have is all good. But I think the problem is that it's a mobile business.
Okay.
And they don't know how to navigate it. So they basically put me either in a peddler category, which is not correct because I'm not a seasonal seller and I don't have like a little plastic
Fruit
table
stands outside of
Exactly,
like you like what
exactly. And I
Circle
don't even
K.
know if you can do this because now there's so many regulations and they have so many festivals and markets where you can be where you have to actually pay for yourself to be there. So that's a whole another thing is that I feel like it's so hard for vendors or small businesses to even make themselves visible because it's so expensive
Yeah.
to enter those festivals.
It really is.
And you might not get anything out of it.
Right.
You might not get even one client out of it. So
You might not even make your money back.
no, you probably won't. I don't think you can. And then the flower trucks also get lumped up together with the food trucks. So that's a whole another thing category.
Which they're not even close.
It's not. And then food trucks are more involved and they're more expensive. So I think that's like the unknown category, and the city didn't know what to do with it. So they just basically told me, you have the license that you have is fine. But now good luck.
Yeah.
You have to go, because I was trying to also see if I could find maybe a way where they could give me a spot, maybe in that new park where it's right behind my neighborhood where everybody asks me where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
But unless I pay myself into markets or events, I can't be anywhere.
Right.
That's kind of how it is.
Yeah, you get ticketed
Yeah.
just for sitting on the street.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that because the way I also want to run the business is more like an event experience.
Yeah.
So I don't know if farmers market is even good for my truck because, at the farmers market, you have farmers who are selling their flowers, and I won't be able to match their price.
Oh,
Anyways.
is that what? See, I didn't think about farmers market having. So there would okay. Sorry.
And a lot of times, if they're already selling flowers there, they will tell you we don't need any more flower vendors.
That's true too.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I'd actually never seen any flower vendors at a farmer's market until my brother lives in Blacksburg, Virginia, and I was visiting him and his family, and we went to their market, and it was just the most quaint little, kind of like yours, flower booth set up, and you could build a bouquet and they would put it together for you or whatever. And I was like, wow, that's genius, because you want to like leave with something beautiful to remind you of the day.
And it's different, but like you said, it's the experience. You saw it and it's beautiful, and then they do all of the things for you, but you just need somebody who values it, because a lot of people don't value that kind of, they don't see what everything goes into it. They see the flowers there, and then everything is priced by stem. Then they see the price, and all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, $5 per stem.
Yeah.
But if you look at Kroger is selling $5 per stem too.
It's just really tiny bouquets.
But and then you pay $20 for that. But it's, it's not the same. I have seasonal flowers that I take from that I bring from the growers, local growers. So
that is something I love, that you support the local businesses too.
And then it should be this way, right? And then they love that their flowers are displayed on people's trucks. I mean, most of the flower trucks that we have here, they do that. Some of them, they grow their own flowers.
Okay.
I don't have my farm yet. Maybe.
Sam and I both want a farm, so it sounds like you're with us, huh?
I would love a farm. I don't think my husband is for it.
Well, he could just live in the front and like mow the lawn.
I think he's afraid. I think he's afraid of the work. He's not into stuff like that.
He's not an outdoors guy.
But I'm like, grass mowing, that's like, that would be like a therapy for me. Just put the earbuds in or not.
Yep.
Just drive the little thingy.
For sure.
And just keep mowing.
I used to mow at this farm that I worked at, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I know it sounds dumb, but
with it, but I mean, I don't think he sees a lot of work with it. So
yeah. And there is.
He does help me with the truck. I have to say, he's like very helpful, and he always follows me just in case it breaks down somewhere.
That's so sweet.
So
where did you find your truck, by the way?
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that, right? So my journey for truck was, I mean, it's probably not long. People look for their trucks for years, maybe, or even a year. But I wanted just to start the business, so I was eager, and I thought it's gonna happen really fast, and it wasn't, because there's a lot of different flower trucks out there that people go with. They have the mini trucks. They have maybe classic Chevys, like old ones from 1940s. But I am from Europe, so I wanted something European. And then I started seeing these flower trucks. They're Volkswagen flower trucks. And I was like, well, this would be perfect. It would go like with this. That's me. That's definitely
it fits your aesthetic.
Yes. And it's me. And price was a big deal, because they're so expensive. They're very expensive. And B, if you find them, they can be beaters. They look like you might still have to do work on them. So it takes time. So I traveled to it was different states. I traveled, just rented a car, and I'm like, I'm going, guys. I gotta go see this flower truck. So it was interesting for me, because it was just something I was just doing on my own. And I've seen really some good ones, but the pricing sometimes was more than I wanted to. So then it came to negotiation. Then I also went to Charleston. There's a flower truck there, which I didn't even know there was the truck that I went to see was a flower truck business owner.
Oh.
And I follow her on Instagram, but I found out when I was there.
Like, oh,
their
this is
husband
her truck.
was telling me, he was like, yeah, my wife does a flower truck business. I go, why didn't you tell me? I mean, we were talking this whole time. He's like, I didn't know if she wanted people, strangers, to know. She didn't even know if you're gonna show up. So we talked, and she was super sweet. But I ended up not buying their truck, because I felt like I would still have to do work on that. And I didn't have the money to put on it. So then coincidentally, on Marketplace, I found my truck,
No way. Like
which
here?
was nerve-wracking. No, because it was in New York.
Okay.
And it was a car collector. He has so many different cars,
Oh.
and I think his wife wanted him to downsize. So he was selling some of his cars, and it was an older guy and super sweet on the phone. Like in today's world, I was so scared I'm gonna get scammed.
Yeah.
Right. So it comes to the price, and we negotiated the price. He was very, very, I got a great price.
Oh,
He was happy
good.
that I'm gonna use the truck for what I'm using it.
Do you
He
send him
just,
pictures?
yeah.
Nice.
He just wanted to go to truck somebody. He didn't want somebody to buy it and then 6 months later sell it for profit again. Because these
Yeah.
trucks are you can sell them for very good price in
Wow,
the
you met
condition.
like the right person.
It was meant to be. And so what happened is it came to the day I had to pay for it. And so I went to the bank and I was going to do the transfer. And the bank was telling me, no, we're not doing this. You're getting scammed. I didn't know this can happen.
Oh.
And I go,
They just decided for you?
well, they're like, we've seen so many cases like this. People come here later and they're crying because they sent all this money.
Okay.
Because it's like $30,000.
Yeah.
And they sent all this money, and now they don't have the car and they don't have the money, and there's nothing we can do. So we're trying to protect you.
That's nice at least.
I go, yeah, but we don't. The funny part is, because I'm a girl, right?
Yes.
First thing was that what they said in today's world. They said, "Have you talked to your husband?"
No. No.
I was speechless. I was like,
Excuse me?
not that you should know, but yes, he does know, because he knows that I'm doing this business. We talked about it. And so
You're right. In today's world.
yeah, have you talked to your husband about it? It's like,
No.
as a woman, you can't do anything with a husband.
Yeah.
And so they made sure 4 times that, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? I said, I'm sure. I mean, I was freaking out inside, because I was like,
What if?
then that's it. But I mean, I talked to the guy. I had his address. I had his driver's license. It probably doesn't mean anything, but I mean, I had the feeling sometimes you have to go with your gut. And so I sent the money, and then I called him right after that, and he was kind of laughing on the phone. I was like, shh. If I am getting scammed, he's like, well, how are you feeling now? How are you feeling now?
What a stinker.
I know, he was making fun of the whole process, but it worked out. I mean, he had to mail me the title and the keys. And what happened is he mailed it overnight.
Okay.
And the post office lost it somewhere. And I was like, for sure, I'm getting scammed.
Oh,
I did not.
no.
Yeah, that was the whole story about getting the truck. I got it. They located it, and I got it later. And
wait,
so
how did the
once
truck get to you?
So I had to have a guy. He lived in a small town in Jasper, New York, and that's what I named the truck, Jasper.
Oh,
cute. I was trying to find out what the name for the truck, but nothing was really like sticking to the story. And I said, well, wait, it's like Jasper. It's from New York, Jasper, New York, so it will work out.
It's adorable.
But he in his little town, he had a guy who had a truck who transport his classic cars before. So he brought it down here, because that was a whole nother thing. I was trying to find like a good price, because I already spent so much money.
Sure.
But going through the companies, you never know how long it's going to take for the truck to get here, how many times they're going to take it off and put it back on, because they might have like 8 different cars on the trailer. So this guy just basically delivered to me straight from New York, just my truck.
That's awesome.
I know, it was expensive.
And you knew see,
Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to say that the guy who sold you the truck set it up for you.
I mean, he already gave me a really good deal, because the truck was more expensive, and I was negotiating with him. So basically what I saved, then I put back in the but I mean, I needed somebody who knows and is gonna, because if they're going to be just sleeping somewhere or driving around with it, I never know when it can get here.
True.
It could be tricky. So, I mean, he loaded up at night at 8 p.m. and then he was at 2:00. He was already in my house.
Wow.
So it worked out. So this is the truck story. And then I got it, and I was looking at it. And I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it that I got it.
Did
And
you
then
feel like surreal?
it was very surreal, but then I started looking at it because it was not still a flower truck, right? So
Okay.
then I needed to do the whole construction for the bed so we can hold the canvas. And that was a whole another thing that we had to figure it out because my truck is rebuilt and the bed of the truck and they come as trucks.
Okay.
It's not like a redone bus.
Sure.
It's a truck.
Because I actually thought it was a
Yeah,
redone bus.
we a lot of people actually asks me how had you like converted it to this, and I said no, they are factory single cabs. They call them single cabs or sometimes transporters, or they have crew cabs. The crew cabs are very hard to find, and I went to see one in Florida and I loved it, but the bed is much shorter, so I wouldn't
Okay.
be able to fill that many flowers in there. So
Less
I didn't go,
product.
but it was a beautiful truck. Yeah.
Your truck is Jasper
It's
is
a
beautiful.
Jasper, yeah. I always wanted the windows in the front. They open.
Yeah.
We call them safari windows. And
Okay.
it's so hard to find. And it's usually the trucks they have it are very expensive because it's like a one thing that people. And then I want the front with the giant VW in
Yeah.
there. So I didn't think I was gonna find it. That was like on my list, and then I started. Once you have list, and then you can find. You start saying, "Oh, maybe I don't have to have this, and maybe I don't have to have that."
Yeah.
I wasn't going for a blue color, but everybody loves the blue.
I love
so
it
it worked
too.
out.
So
It
since
worked
I
out.
love it, no, just kidding.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I was so stupid that I was even thinking, well, maybe I have it repainted. But then when I heard the quotes, I was like, nope.
I
it's
can't
staying
imagine.
Blue. It's staying. It's like $12,000.
Oh
To
shoot!
get it
No, that's how much a
repainted.
car costs.
Yeah, I was no. All my money is in it right now. So
You're like no.
there is no room.
So speaking of in today's world,
Yes.
how did you?
Did you ask your husband?
That's what I was thinking. I was gonna ask. Well, I was gonna ask you. How did you go from like photography to like I want to open a business, and how did you get like how was the support from your husband?
So my husband was all on board. He's always like, I'm the one who analyzes everything, and I'm like, well, what if? And this is gonna be,
Sure.
and
So
I
he probably
can't
trusted
do
you.
it. Yeah, he was like, well, if it doesn't work out, you can always sell the truck. It's always gonna sell. It's not like you will not be able to recoup the money.
Okay.
But my idea, or I was kind of like put on this path, is because I worked for Flower Truck last year.
Oh yeah.
So it just kind of came out of nowhere. I met the owners in the park with my dogs, and they were taking pictures. I have 3 German Shepherds.
Oh.
So they were taking pictures.
Sam
with
has
the-
German Shepherds.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to talk to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have long coats. I have long
Okay.
coats.
Oh,
German Shepherds.
beautiful.
But they were just taking pictures of the truck and the dogs, and then we talked, and then I think the owner mentioned that he's going to have another truck and he needs somebody to drive it, and not everybody knows how to drive stick.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
I said, and then at the time their truck is a mini truck, so the seats are on the right side, so a lot of
Okay.
people they're not comfortable driving on the
'Cause
right.
they get
They'd be sitting-
confused.
Yeah. So I said, well, I'll try it. I mean, he goes, you would? So I did. I mean, and it clicked, and I worked for them for a year almost. But I knew it's just kind of temporary. But I mean, that kind of like gave me the in onto and on the fly. Sometimes you have to be exposed to
Yes.
it so you can realize, oh, this is really something I love and I
100%.
enjoy. And I really love I'm not a really people person. Like I like my space and I like to be on my own. But at the truck, I really like the people and the stories. Everybody's so happy.
Well, because how can you not?
I
It's
know people
beautiful
enjoy the
flowers.
flowers.
And
they
you said
smell it.
multi-sensory.
Yes,
Yeah.
people smell it and they touch the flowers and everything. So it's like, yeah, this is really fun. And then when I was not working for them anymore, I missed it. So everybody was saying, well, just start your own. I said,
Just start your own.
I was like, I don't even know where to start with this. It's like, you can do it. You can make it your own, and then it can be the way that you want it to be. And then I started thinking about it. I was like, what was I saying
Why
that I
can't
do?
I?
Well, I can't do it. So
Yeah.
So then I started looking for the truck and all this stuff. And, then you start realizing I need the insurance for the truck. I'm going to need the business license. Like all of the things
Yep.
started rolling in. So there were moments in the journey when I was like, this is not worth it. But I guess I did it all. And now I'm in it. And
Yeah.
there's a lot more behind the scenes, like we talked about, than
Yeah.
just, seeing beautiful flowers and you living my dreams. So.
Yes, there is. I am laughing because you're talking about like the business license and all that.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened to me, and I love how I'm just like it happened to me. It's not something I did.
Yeah, exactly.
It just happened.
Yeah.
When I first opened up my business, it took me a few months before, like, there were people telling me, you need to get an accountant. This is just, you've got to like let go of some things. Yeah. And so I finally did talk to an accountant, and she was like, okay, so tell me where you are in the process. Like, and I'd already been open. My business was already open, probably 3 or 4 months.
No.
And I was in Swanee, downtown.
Yes.
Swanee, right across from the city hall.
Yeah.
And she goes, do you have like all your licensing? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, okay, well, I see. And I sent her all the stuff. And I was like, papers. Yeah. So I was like, yeah. So I've got my my EIN number with the federal government. Right. I've got my sales tax thing with the, and I've got my LLC is built. She's like, well, okay, great. And so you have your city license. And I was like, what do you, wait. Well, I'm sure I do. And then she's like, well, you have a license to practice, like not to practice, but to work in the city of Swanee. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, well, did you go to the city hall? And I was like, no.
But that's the thing. Like, there's not really a clear write-up of what you have to do all of it. I mean, as we were talking, I mean, I was lucky enough to talk to Emma's flower truck in Marietta. I reached out to her and I asked her all these questions, and she was very transparent. But even between the different cities is different laws. Yeah. Like, I had to do more in Swanee than she had to do in Marietta. It's different there than it's in Swanee.
Really?
Yeah, she didn't need all of that.
Interesting. And it's hard. And so I think it's amazing that you were talking about how, like, you had Emma to help Emma, right?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I
well,
think maybe her name
for
is
today.
Amelia. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Amelia.
But you had her help, and you had all these people too also saying, like, you can do this. And I feel like that's kind of, well, for me, it was imperative. I wouldn't have opened my quilt shop.
Because every other day you want to quit. I know. Yeah. I know that very well. You're like, and it's like when it gets hard, you're like, well, it's not worth it. What am I doing? For me, it's like, I'm going to have to get a real job now to support my dream job so I can pay for the losses and things that I had.
It's so sad and scary and true.
It is. People don't realize it. They see the truck and then they see that you're selling things. They're like, you're making so much money.
Yeah.
No, it is not. And at least not now. It is because, and everybody tells you. So I'm talking even to the growers and the farmers and Stem and Quill in Swanee. Actually, she's so sweet. We were talking and she goes, well, you're just starting. You're learning. You're learning.
You're learning.
She goes, I was there. I understand. And she goes, you have to, like, in the beginning, it's very, very hard, but just keep going. Yeah. And I said, beginning, what do you mean? She goes, like, the first 3 years.
That's what my brother said.
I go, 3 years? I don't know if I can last 3 years.
You can. So my brother was a business major. Now he's a dentist. But he says 3 to survive, 5 to thrive.
Oh, wow.
And I know it sounds so long.
Right in the beginning.
You're in the beginning, and that's okay. Like, but just remind yourself, like, try not to look at it as like a marathon that you're only just in the beginning of. But more like, okay, it's okay to be at this stage where I'm not.
Yeah, it's like,
where I want to be.
I guess I had too high expectations. Like, I had the plans, and I'm like, it's got to go this way. But you truly never know where it's going to take you. Yeah. And I might not be able to do what I wanted to do, but hopefully other doors are going to open. Yeah. And you just never know what can happen with the truck.
Exactly. So, okay, well, then that brings me to wondering, when you say might not be able to do what I wanted to do, what did you envision? Where did you feel like you should be right now?
So eventually, I mean, the first time I was kind of like going by the model that I've seen with the truck before, right? And then they do a lot of markets and like different like events that they go to.
Like
But once you're
festivals.
festivals, but once you're in it, I realized that there's a great cost that you have to invest to be in a festival
Yeah.
or at the market. And it's have a perishable goods, and so that's on top of what I have to, if I lose it, I lose it. So then
And
I,
it's
I
hard to get your
lose.
foot in the door sometimes if they already have like a
Exactly. And it's, what they might say, we already have a florist or we already have a flower. And then, so then you're going by that they think maybe she can do it for free the first time
Mhm.
because she's new. And then, so I fell for that trap too,
Yes.
where, I've done free events, and that's what I'm saying, that
Whole
now
events.
now I have to get a job to pay for it.
Yeah, because you
when
paid
some
for
people,
someone else's event.
I paid for someone. I didn't get paid, and I paid for their flowers.
Did
So,
they say, "Oh, look, we'll promote you. Do it for
yes.
free."
So that's a lot of it. It's always like, we are gonna blast you on social media and we're gonna share and you're gonna get so many followers. And guess what?
Nothing.
It's not happening.
Ugh.
So I also know, like, some people say be patient because your business is events. So people might not have the event right now, but maybe they're gonna remember you. But that's not guarantee, right?
Yeah.
And then that's not how business really can work. I can just sit and wait and see
Yeah.
if a lot of people, people are excited about the business. They're like, this is so great, we're gonna call you, we're gonna say something, and then you hear nothing. It's crickets.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, as we talk, the networking, it takes a lot of part of the business, and it's exhausting because you're constantly trying to hype people up by your business, and you are hyped up by your business
For
but
sure.
if you have to constantly, look that this can be this and that, and then you don't see really the feedback, is kind of exhausting.
Well, and it's true too, like that you're gonna hit a lot of rejection,
Yeah.
unfortunately, because
Yeah.
you have to knock on so many doors, and then
A lot of people
to
don't
get
get
one
it, like
answer.
we were
Yeah.
talking, right? It's just, you
Yeah.
say flower truck, and they're like,
Uh-huh.
and then you start talking, they're like, and then you show a picture and like, oh,
Which we are gonna put a
okay.
picture up because
Thank
it's
you.
stunning.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I try. We
absolutely.
did, we built the whole bag with the holders for the buckets and then the canvas. And there were a lot of people helping me along the way.
Yeah.
I wanna mention that because without them I would be probably still working on it.
No, I understand. That's how I
So you
feel.
do need people who believe in you to help you along the way.
I
So
agree. I think that that's kind of what helps a lot of us go. Like, it just kind of helps the world go around. We need to like lift each other up. I think
yeah.
there are some people maybe who might be gatekeepers
Mhm.
where they're like,
Yeah,
I see you as
agree.
competition. I'm not going to help you.
Yes.
But I think we all have our own personalities. We all bring our own things to the world.
And the market is so big for
It
everyone. Like,
is.
even when you think about your business or my business, like with the flower truck, your one flower truck, you can only be at that one event at one time. You can't be splitting yourself. Maybe you can have a stand and then you can have somebody else being
Yeah.
somewhere else. So you can have two events at
Yeah.
the same time. But there's other people who can do it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that if I do differently that I do it better. It's just that might be fit for somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. And so I kind of like to say it like, and they've all heard me say this before, a rising
Right?
tide.
Yeah.
A rising tide lifts all boats
Yes,
or all
I
ships.
agree. But that's like, you have, even you look at the bigger stores, you have Starbucks, and next to you have another coffee shop,
Oh,
and
yeah.
everybody's making money.
You're right. Exactly.
You have a bunch of different pizzerias.
It's true.
And they're all selling pizza.
That's true.
So I don't know why. I don't know how flower truck that's in Swanee that I worked for, they're looking at me right now because
Right.
we're in the same area. But the truth
Kinda.
is, yeah, we're in Swanee, but the
Oh,
truth is
okay.
I am not doing a Swanee.
I was thinking he was at the Avalon.
He is at the other one.
Okay.
But
okay.
he is based in Swanee.
Okay, got
so
you.
most of his business comes in Swanee, and and I don't expect the take over because he's already had the business for over 4 years.
Yeah.
So he's established, people know of him, and then so I'm trying to find my own
niche
and where I'm going to be and what I can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he has his customer base, so no matter what, like those customers are still going to go to them.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Exactly.
So I never really thought of them being they were a competition, but I
Right.
don't know what they think. So
Right. Like that's the thing too. Like I feel like you're not I just don't think it has to be competition. I really don't.
I don't see it. I'm trying to, I mean, and even with the other flower trucks, somebody was telling me, well, are you in Marietta? Are you in Sandy Springs or Roswell? I go, well, you guys have your flower trucks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we do, but you can be there too. I said, I know, but we're trying to like not step on each other's toes. Unless it's like a prepaid event where somebody really requests me, then that's different than for me to just shop around in that area. Because, I always try to be
you want
respectful.
them to grow too.
Yeah, it's kind of like we have a small florist shop on the roundabout in Swanee. It's like I would go and park my car right by the State Farm there. I mean, florist.
Oh, I know where that florist shop is.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they've been there for so long. So I'm not going to like park the car
out in front of there
and ask the business, hey, can I be here?
Yeah.
Because, that's their living there.
Exactly.
The livelihood. They've been there for so long. So I try to be always respectful of that.
Yeah.
But it's not everybody's like that. But hopefully that's going to bring the good karma.
I think so.
Right?
I do believe in that, honestly. I just think that the good things will keep coming, like if you put it out there.
Hopefully. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah, exactly. Man, I wonder. So we are going to try to work together in the future.
Yes, I want to do that so badly. Do an event. We make your own wreath or something for the holidays. Think people will really enjoy that. They can make it their own.
I think so too.
I can bring the truck and we can do partially on the truck. I think it would be so fun.
Neat.
Yeah. It would be so fun.
Yeah. So we're gonna look and probably we'll do it later, closer to Christmas. Are you thinking?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
And I think, it's just like like we said, it's like the whole experience. People can take pictures. We encourage them to go on the truck and, take the pictures with the windows open.
I regret it because the first time I met you,
the weather was so bad.
Well, it was, but I took a picture of you, which is adorable.
Oh, wow. I don't know about that.
I will show it to you.
I was a hot mess, like sweating again. All I do is sweat.
I know. I bet.
With
I
these
can't
buckets.
handle it outside in the summer. Okay, I won't talk about that for you.
Yeah, it's bad. Oh, I'm just mess in the summer. The hair is like so big, and then you constantly sweating in this humid and
But I really wish that I had gotten a picture with your truck because it's so pretty.
Well, you will. I'll come next time.
That's right.
You do a picture.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we're gonna have her here. She's gonna do a class, kind of teach us how to make our own wreaths. So look for that kind of in the coming months. But what are some of the have you pitfalls that you've fallen into or run into that you're like, okay, if anybody wants to start a business, just kind of be careful of things like this?
Well, the main thing that we talked about, just because you're new, doesn't mean you don't have experience. You're just starting and then you're trying to figure out what you want to go, but don't fall into the free bit when you're doing things for free. I think that I really regret, because in the beginning I wanted people to know me and then get out there. So it might take longer for you to get that out there, but I actually I'm not getting what I thought I was going to get out of the free events at all.
Right.
And in the end, I mean, you're the one who's going to suffer financially from that because you put your money in it. But then if you don't see any return, then what's it for?
It's true. I kind of learned that too, because I had a lot of it's an art. You put your time and effort into it. And
your clothes are beautiful. I keep looking at these little Japanese dolls.
The geisha girls.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
Yes, thank you. But you'll get people in who don't really know what goes into it. And they're like, oh, it won't be a big deal. I'll just ask her if she can just do it for
just
me.
whip it out overnight.
Or
You
that,
can
right?
do it.
Exactly. And so I've kind of learned, like, especially in the beginning, one of the things that I learned was to actually itemize everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, like, let them
it's
see on the
helpful.
invoice, it was this much for this much for this much for this. This is the value of what I'm getting.
And that's the thing. People don't look at the whole picture, right? They see the
Mhm.
flowers, and for some reason, they think that the truck, which is funny to me, the truck should be cheaper. The flowers should be cheaper than Kroger's flowers.
Yeah.
Which small business cannot match the prices of these big stores,
Yep.
big box stores. And B, it's not the same quality, and it's not the same. I mean, I bring it, like I said, it's the experience, right?
Uh-huh.
So, you're making your own bouquet. Normally, when you pick up bouquet from a store, it's already made, so you get what's in there.
Yep.
On the truck, you can make what you like, what you see from the selection that's there, and that's the seasonal flowers from the growers that I have. And it's different because I try to have flowers there you don't usually see
Right.
in the stores. So that's one of those things that people don't realize. And like you say, they don't see all the work behind it, like how you have to process the flowers, changing the water all the time. Like, I have buckets and buckets, like constantly dumping,
Always
filling, cleaning.
cleaning.
You have to clean the bucket with the Clorox because it can grow bacteria.
Oh,
And then,
yeah.
so there's just so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and also you really have to know your flowers. And I know that sounds silly.
And when people will tell you, yeah, that's not a real job.
It's
like,
a lot.
Well, it might not be to you, but it kind of seems real when you have to do it all the time by yourself,
Right?
and you put so much effort in it, and then somebody tells you
Yeah.
that. It's kind of like, stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, you don't do anything.
Oh.
Sure.
I don't?
Sure. Just don't do anything.
Nope. Just to be a
Yeah.
servant for my whole
I know.
day.
Don't even let me start on that. Another free job.
Oh, right?
Another
Exactly.
freebie. Yeah.
Another under appreciated,
Yeah.
I guess is what you would say. I think that you just have to value yourself. I think that it's important to also just, I guess what I'm really getting from this whole conversation is people are supporting us, and then we can also support each other too.
That is true. I agree.
To get us. Yeah, I just think
And
it's
that
huge.
I wish there was more out there. Like when we talked together, I mean, I did find, I wish I remember which business posted it, but there's one flower truck that has a whole write up on the website, what you have to do before you start the business, all the licenses, all the permits, how many buckets of everything you should have on the truck if you need all of that guidance. So that was very helpful to me because at least, you kind of see the checklist of what you have to check off.
That's amazing.
And then I forgot about the sales lane use tax.
Oh, yeah.
When I wanted to register myself with a wholesaler, and they're like, well, we're going to need this number. I'm like, so I was giving them my tax ID for the taxes. And they're like, well, that's not that. You need a sales. I go, where do I go for this? I had no idea. Yeah. So now I have a bunch of different numbers. I don't even know what I'm going to do with it when tax year comes.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be interesting. And then the whole sales tax is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, it's a lot. It can be really daunting.
It's not clear. The site is so terrible.
So I'll give you a tip. I'll give you the number later because I did get through to somebody and she walked me through what to do.
Okay.
So
because I did send a payment for March, but it's now they're saying that they're going to put me through collection agencies because I didn't file. So I called today the generic number, and she goes, well, you didn't submit the paper. And I said, but I paid. It came from my account. I said, why are you guys talking collection agencies when it's paid? She goes, but you have to fill out the form.
Oh, I'll help you.
Yeah, but I did that. I did that for the other ones. It just for some reason did not register for the March one. Because when I did the March, it looked different from the April. They changed the site. Something happened.
I thought so too.
Yes, they changed it. So the March looked different. So I don't know why it didn't translate in the whole thing, but it was so annoying. And then she talked to me like I'm an idiot today.
Oh, I hate that. I'm so sorry.
It's like, well, you didn't. I'm like, but if I start filling it up, you guys gonna want me to pay again. And
right.
She goes, that is not true, ma'am. And when somebody starts mamming me, that's no for me.
Oh,
Please don't man me.
no, right?
Yeah.
I also don't love the ma'am, even though I know we're here in the South.
No,
know it's
please don't
supposed
man
to
me here.
be.
I don't like that. I just find it so condescending. Like when they talk, it's
Especially
like
when
the
it's-
bless your heart.
I feel the same.
It's the same thing.
I feel the same.
yeah.
That's hilarious.
So maybe that's because I'm not from the South, but
Yeah, same.
yeah.
All right, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Let's see if I record it.
That's right. And you all right, you guys. So I hope that you were able to just enjoy our conversation today. I was really grateful to have you
We
here.
had so much in common.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
I
how
loved
our
it.
Paths are very similar.
Yeah,
so,
weirdly.
Yeah, for sure.
Weirdly.
This was meant to be.
It was. Yes. Well, thank you so much,
No,
Simona.
thank you so much, Melissa.
And we'll talk to you later. You and I will talk.
That's right.
And for you guys, skirts out.
Bye.
Bye.
Did you like the episode that you heard today? Great. Share it with a friend and don't forget to rate and review.